Welcome, deep divers. Today we're embarking on what I truly believe is one of the most vital journeys any of us can undertake. We're plunging headfirst into the profound topic of mastering your emotions for inner peace and strength. We've gathered, well, a stack of incredibly insightful sources, brimming with wisdom on emotional discipline, self-control.
Yeah, really potent stuff.
And our mission today isn't just to summarize them. It's to distill those potent ideas into practical, actionable insights that you can immediately weave into your daily life.
That's absolutely right. Our goal is to extract wisdom that empowers you, to truly navigate your emotional landscape, allowing you to transform what often feel like overwhelming challenges into genuine sources of strength. Ultimately, it's about reclaiming your inner peace as a consistent, dependable state rather than just like a fleeting moment.
Which feels so elusive sometimes.
Exactly. And it's quite a revolutionary thought, actually. What if that widely accepted notion that emotions simply control us could be fundamentally rewired?
Flipped on its head.
What if the power to become the undisputed master of our emotional states isn't some distant ideal, but a capability already lying dormant within us, just waiting to be awakened? That's the core question we'll be exploring.
Okay, let's get into it. Let's unpack this foundational idea first, because it really sets the stage for everything else we're going to discuss. The sources we've explored make it unequivocally clear. If you envision a different, more fulfilling future for yourself, well, it begins with a decisive act.
Right.
You have to start by shedding the old version of yourself. It's not just a suggestion. It's presented as this radical call for deep personal transformation.
Precisely. And the central tenet here is powerful. The future you genuinely desire, that bolder, more peaceful, more resilient version of yourself, it's simply too grand for the old you to carry.
That's an interesting way to put it.
To step into that greatness, the sources insist you must consciously and deliberately let go of those worn-out habits, those deeply ingrained fears that whisper doubt, and all those familiar excuses that held you captive for maybe far too long.
We all have those.
Oh, yeah. The material emphasizes, and I'm quoting here, true transformation is not an accident, it's a choice. This isn't about making a few minor tweaks or, New Year's resolutions.
Right.
It's a profound, active decision to, as the sources put it, destroy the patterns that limit you and rebuild yourself into someone stronger.
Destroy the patterns.
Yeah.
Wow. That phrase really stands out, doesn't it? It goes beyond simply changing a behavior. It suggests dismantling the very architecture of our self-limiting beliefs.
It really does.
The sources paint such a vivid picture, almost a ritual, of needing to bury the habits, fears, and excuses that have chained you. It's an incredibly potent image. Drives home the depth of this shift.
It truly does. It highlights that the future you dream of can only exist once you let go of the past version of yourself. Now, this isn't about erasing your history, obviously.
Of course not.
But rather about releasing its grip on your present and future potential. This signifies a profound shift in mindset, moving us away from maybe a default position of victimhood, where external circumstances dictate our inner state, towards a powerful stance of self-empowerment. It means recognizing that personal evolution is an intentional, active process, something you initiate and sustain, not something that merely happens to you.
Right, it's not passive.
Exactly. It sets a foundational tone of personal agency, reminding us that our desired future is contingent on our willingness to actively transform our present self, shedding those elements that no longer serve our highest good.
So it's really about being the sculptor of your own future, rather than just passively observing it unfold. That's a truly empowering idea.
That's absolute.
And this idea of taking ownership, it naturally ushers us into another crucial, and let's be honest, often challenging truth. Your peace is your responsibility.
That's a big one.
It's not something controlled by external forces, by other people, or by the unpredictable chaos of the world around us. Our sources are absolutely unambiguous here, stating plainly, no one else should control it.
Crystal clear.
They tell us peace isn't some lucky break, a random gift, or a fleeting moment of calm. Instead, it is, and I quote, built through choice, discipline, and self-awareness.
And what's genuinely illuminating here is how often we, often unwittingly, just hand over our peace.
Yeah, how do we do that?
Well, think about it. How many of us, consciously or unconsciously, give control to the opinions of others, to the chaos of the world, or to things we cannot control?
All the time, probably.
Consider those moments when maybe Another person's anger is allowed to shift our mood, their words to wound our hearts, and their energy to drain our spirit. This isn't just abstract theory. It's a common, almost unconscious surrender of control we engage in daily.
I know exactly what you mean. We've all had those days where one negative interaction can just completely derail our entire mood.
Totally.
It's like we walk into a room and someone hands us their emotional baggage and we just carry it without even thinking.
Precisely. The profound truth the sources lay bare is that peace is an inside job. And this is key. No one can disturb it unless you give them the keys to your emotions.
Ah, the keys. That's a great metaphor.
Isn't it? That vivid metaphor of giving them the keys to your emotions truly places the locus of control firmly within you. External circumstances are, at their core, just stimuli, mere information.
Right.
Your internal response to them, that's your sacred domain. You hold the master key. This revelation often serves as a crucial aha moment for people.
I can see that.
It shifts the focus from trying to control the uncontrollable external world to taking absolute command of your inner state. It fundamentally emphasizes that your tranquility, your sense of calm, is a power you inherently possess, a power to cultivate and guard rather than like a fleeting gift from external circumstances.
Rather than striving to quiet the world, which is impossible.
Impossible.
We learn to quiet ourselves amidst the world's noise. That's a significant shift in perspective, a huge one.
It is.
Okay, so if peace truly is an inside job and we hold the keys to our emotional house, the pressing question then becomes,
Yeah.
how do we actively guard it?
Yes. How do we protect it?
How do we protect this precious inner sanctuary from the inevitable challenges and influences the world throws our way? Our sources lay out 3 incredibly powerful, actionable strategies: building robust boundaries, mastering our reactions, and embracing the liberating power of forgiveness.
Let's start with boundaries. The first strategy, and it's paramount, is this. Owning your peace means building boundaries.
Okay.
And the sources are careful to describe these not as walls of pride, which might conjure images of, isolation or stubbornness,
Right, shutting people out.
but far more evocatively as gates of wisdom. This distinction is absolutely critical. These are gates that allow in what nourishes your growth and block what destroys your calm.
I like that. Gates, not walls.
It's not about keeping everything out. It's about conscious discerning curation. It's about consciously deciding that, frankly, not everyone deserves access to your heart, your mind, or your time.
Ooh, that's direct.
It is. The sources specifically warn that those who thrive on drama, negativity, or manipulation will test you, but you decide whether they succeed. They don't have automatic entry.
Gates of wisdom. That's a beautiful way to frame it. It implies an active, intelligent choice about what we let in versus just reacting. For someone struggling with feeling overwhelmed, this sounds like incredibly practical advice for protecting their mental and emotional space.
Definitely.
It's like establishing a clear perimeter for your well-being, keeping out the noise and the drains, and inviting in only what genuinely supports you.
But I can hear some listeners wondering, okay, how do I actually build these gates? What if I'm afraid of hurting someone's feelings or, appearing rude when I say no? That's a big hurdle for many.
It's a very common and understandable fear, and the sources definitely acknowledge it. Building these gates begins with self-awareness, knowing your own limits and needs rather than waiting for others to define them for you.
It's about recognizing, for instance, that saying yes to every request from a draining acquaintance is ultimately saying no to your own energy reserves, your own creative pursuits, maybe just your own quiet time for reflection.
Right. Saying yes to them is saying no to yourself.
Precisely. The sources gently guide us to understand that these boundaries are not about punishing others, but about protecting yourself. They are not about hostility. They are about self-honesty and self-respect. They teach others how to treat you, and perhaps more importantly, they teach you that your peace is worth guarding. It's a proactive measure, like setting up a strong fence around a thriving garden. You wouldn't leave your garden vulnerable to every stray animal or storm. Your inner peace deserves the same level of protection.
That's a great analogy. Protect the garden.
Oh,
Okay, so boundaries are the first gatekeeper. What's next?
The second crucial strategy focuses on our internal compass, our immediate responses to life. Peace, the sources explain, doesn't come from controlling everything outside. It comes from controlling how you respond.
Ah, the response.
This is a profoundly important distinction. You can't always choose what happens, but you can always choose how to face it. The sources acknowledge life's undeniable challenges. Life won't always go as planned. People will fail you. Storms will come. It's inevitable.
Yeah, that's life.
Yet the defining difference between a restless heart from a peaceful one lies solely in this choice of response. It's about cultivating that internal stability, that unwavering core, despite the raging external storms.
So it's about shifting from being like a passive recipient of circumstances to being an active choice maker in the face of difficulty. It sounds like a superpower, really the ability to stand in the eye of the storm and choose your next move rather than just being swept away.
It is indeed a form of superpower, and like any skill, it's cultivated through diligent practice. Think about the sheer number of daily provocations we face. A rude driver, a critical comment from a colleague, an unexpected bill, maybe just a minor personal slight.
Little things, big thing.
Exactly. Our immediate, unthinking reaction is often a surge of anger, frustration, or defensiveness. But mastering reactions means creating a conscious pause, just a tiny sliver of time between the stimulus and your response.
Not pause.
In that pause, you introduce intention. Instead of letting the anger dictate an immediate retort, you might choose to take a deep breath, observe the feeling without judgment, and then decide how to proceed in a way that aligns with your values and preserves your peace.
So it's not suppression.
No, absolutely not suppression. It's about acknowledging the emotion, feeling it, but then consciously steering your internal ship through turbulent waters rather than letting the waves crash you onto the rocks. It's a powerful tool for navigating adversity, making us more resilient and less susceptible to the whims of the external world.
Okay, boundaries, mastering reactions.
Yeah.
What's the third strategy?
And the third strategy is perhaps the most liberating, though often, let's be real, the most challenging. Peace begins with forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
The sources offer a profound truth here. Holding on to anger or resentment doesn't hurt them. It poisons you.
Wow, okay.
This isn't about letting others off the hook, about excusing their transgressions or making light of your pain. It's about setting yourself free. Forgiveness is clarified as not about excusing their actions, it's about freeing yourself from carrying their weight inside you.
Freeing yourself.
It's an act of releasing the poison, lightening your spirit, and making space for peace to grow.
Releasing the poison. That imagery really drives home the toxic nature of resentment. It makes forgiveness sound like a profound act of self-care, almost like a medical necessity for your soul.
Exactly.
Rather than an act primarily for the benefit of the other person.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be incredibly difficult to forgive, especially for deep wounds. How do the sources suggest we even begin that process when the pain feels so fresh or so profound?
That's a crucial point. The sources definitely acknowledge that forgiveness is rarely a single immediate event, especially for profound hurts. It's not like flipping a switch.
Right.
Instead, it's often a gradual process, a conscious decision you might have to make repeatedly, maybe daily, until the emotional charge finally dissipates. They suggest it starts with the recognition that you are suffering more by holding on to the anger than the person who wronged you likely is.
The poison affects the container.
Precisely. It's about detaching your well-being from their apology or their changed behavior because you simply cannot control those things.
Right.
Instead, you focus on what you can control, your internal state. It's about deciding, I refuse to let this bitterness occupy rent-free space in my mind and heart any longer. Sometimes it involves setting clear boundaries first, so the harm cannot be repeated.
Safety first.
And then, from that place of safety, working to dissolve the internal poison. It's a deliberate choice to step out of the prison of resentment, not for their sake, but for your own liberation, allowing your spirit to lighten and creating fertile ground for peace to truly flourish.
Liberating indeed. Okay, so boundaries, mastering reactions, forgiveness. And you mentioned something underpinning all of this.
Yes, and underpinning all of these strategies is the absolute bedrock of self-awareness. The sources state unequivocally that peace is deeply rooted in self-awareness. Knowing your triggers, your weaknesses, and your boundaries isn't just like good self-knowledge. It actively prevents you from being so easily shaken by life's inevitable tremors. Many people, it's explained, lose their peace precisely because they don't understand themselves.
They don't know what makes them tick or what throws them off.
Exactly. This fundamental lack of self-knowledge leads them to react blindly, compare constantly to others, and perpetually search for validation outside themselves.
I see that so often, chasing external validation, always looking over our shoulder what others are doing or saying. It's an exhausting way to live, isn't it? Always reacting to what's outside, never really knowing what's going on inside.
It is exhausting. True self-knowledge, on the other hand, helps you stop handing away your power. It's the contrast between being easily shaken, like a leaf in the wind, and being firmly grounded in self-understanding, like a mighty oak.
Strong roots.
This self-awareness is the fertile soil in which all these other practices can take root and flourish. It's the initial step in identifying those old habits and excuses we discussed earlier. Without understanding why you react a certain way or what truly depletes your energy, it's incredibly difficult to implement any lasting change.
So understanding ourselves isn't just some navel-gazing psychological exercise. It's the absolute bedrock for building lasting inner peace.
Absolutely.
It's what gives us the stability and clarity to effectively implement these other powerful tools. These foundational ideas really lay the groundwork for how we interact with the world and, more importantly, how we manage our inner lives. And that naturally leads us into a deeper exploration of the tangible impact of our emotional reactions.
Right into the silent battle.
Exactly. So we've explored the importance of taking ownership and building a strong foundation for our peace. But what happens when that foundation is shaky? Our sources describe this as the silent battle, delving into what they call the hidden cost of emotional reactions. This section truly explores how our peace can be slowly, subtly, yet relentlessly chipped away when we lack that crucial self-awareness we just talked about.
It's a profound observation the sources make here. When self-awareness is lacking, we become grounded in external approval.
Looking outside again.
Yeah. Instead of being rooted in our own values and inner strength, we start chasing validation from the world, allowing others to dictate how we feel about ourselves. Peace, in this state, when it's neglected, becomes incredibly fragile.
Easily broken.
Very susceptible to every external shift. The sources place a huge, almost unshakable emphasis on cultivating an intentional environment. They highlight very directly that what you watch, listen to, and surround yourself with matters. And this isn't just fluffy, feel-good advice. No. They vividly illustrate how negativity, gossip, and toxic environments slowly chip away at your calm, much like water eroding stone over time. Conversely, positive influences like, wisdom, uplifting voices, supportive relationships, they create an atmosphere where peace doesn't just survive, but can genuinely thrive.
Slowly chip away at your calm. That's such a powerful, almost insidious image. It's not one sudden avalanche that overwhelms us.
Right, not usually.
But a constant, subtle drip of small negative influences that erodes our peace over time. It makes a compelling case for being incredibly discerning about what we allow into our lives, doesn't it? Not just the big decisions, but those everyday choices, what we read, who we talk to.
Exactly. Imagine your inner peace as, say, a well-maintained garden. Every toxic conversation is like a weed popping up. Every negative news cycle maybe leaves a patch of infertile soil. Every draining relationship acts like a parasite.
Okay, yeah.
If left unchecked, these elements slowly but surely choke out the beauty and vitality of your inner landscape. This implies a revolutionary truth. Ownership is everything. No person, no situation, and no circumstance should have more power over your peace than you do.
That's taking back control.
Completely. This transforms happiness and calmness from these elusive gifts, granted or withheld by external factors, into conscious, deliberate choices. Once you fully accept this truth, you gain the power to rise above manipulation, chaos, and distraction. You learn to walk in stillness even when storms rage around you, establishing peace as your core foundation, a source of unwavering strength, clarity, and freedom.
Wow.
This provides a powerful reminder of how subtle daily choices in environment and focus profoundly impact internal tranquility. It really advocates for the conscious cultivation of both your inner and outer space. It's about curating your input so you can control your output.
Curate your input. I like that.
Yeah.
This brings us to a really stark and thought-provoking comparison our sources make about our reactions themselves. They say quite bluntly that reactions define you, not their actions.
Ooh, yeah.
Really hits home.
Yeah.
Life inevitably is going to throw situations and people our way that push your limits. Some will wrong you, some will misunderstand you, and many, unfortunately, will try to provoke you. That just happens.
It does.
But the key, deeply liberating insight here is that their behavior isn't in your control, but your reaction always is.
This is where the core of true strength reveals itself. The sources define it as mastering yourself. They sharply contrast the immediate, often satisfying in the moment, but ultimately destructive ease of, say, exploding in anger.
That quick release.
With the real power to remain calm, steady, and unshaken. When you're faced with disrespect, insults, or unfair treatment, the choice is starkly laid bare. You can allow yourself to be dragged into their darkness by reacting impulsively, thereby giving them power over you.
Letting them win, essentially.
Or you can stand firm, demonstrating unequivocally that your peace is not for sale.
So it's really about not allowing someone else's storm to dictate your internal weather.
Precisely. And this profound insight leads directly to the conclusion that reactions are the mirror of discipline. They reveal whether you are in control of your emotions or if your emotions are controlling you.
The mirror.
This highlights the crucial difference between a reactive person, vividly described as a puppet easily manipulated by external strings, and a disciplined person who is truly free.
Puppet versus free, that's stark.
It is. The sources make it clear. A truly disciplined person is one who is unshaken by insult or circumstance, someone whose inner peace is so robust that no negativity can dictate their state of mind. They are not victims of fleeting provocations. They are masters of their own domain.
The distinction between the puppet and the free person is incredibly vivid and, frankly, a little jarring. It frames every challenging interaction not just as a test, but also as a profound opportunity to practice and demonstrate self-mastery.
Every single one.
And a powerful reminder that your response isn't just a fleeting moment. It's a direct reflection of your internal strength, or maybe a lack thereof.
And this understanding empowers you to redefine what strength truly means. It's not about being the loudest or the most aggressive or the most dominant person in the room. It's about inner composure, the quiet power of self-control, and the unwavering confidence that comes from knowing you are not at the mercy of others' actions or words. This internal strength is far more influential and resilient than any external show of force.
Okay, so if our reactions define us, how do we shift from that impulsive, puppet-like state to one of genuine freedom? The sources give us a vital distinction here. Reacting versus responding.
Yes, crucial difference.
A reaction is instant, driven by emotion, and often followed by regret. We all know that feeling, right? That split-second decision we immediately wish we could take back, that sharp word, that emotional outburst.
Oh yeah, the cringe factor later.
Exactly. A response, however, is altogether different. It is thoughtful, measured, and aligned with your values.
By consciously choosing to respond rather than react, you protect your dignity, preserve your peace, and strengthen your character. The sources reiterate that true strength is, at its core, self-mastery. Not physical power, not shouting the loudest, or dominating others. They drive home a critical point. If someone can push your buttons and control your emotions, they control you. It's really that simple.
Yeah.
But actively practicing self-control takes that power back. This process proves that your inner world cannot and should not be dictated by the outside world.
That's a huge takeaway for anyone listening. It's not about being immune to challenges, but about how you choose to meet them. I particularly resonated with the wisdom that one moment of anger can destroy years of progress, and one impulsive reaction can ruin opportunities.
So true.
I can think of countless examples, both personal and professional, where a momentary lapse of control led to consequences that reverberated for days, weeks, even years sometimes.
Yeah.
It really highlights the long-term impact of our moment-to-moment choices.
Absolutely. Think of a career opportunity lost because of an angry email sent in the heat of the moment, or a friendship fractured by a thoughtless, reactive remark, or even a personal goal abandoned out of impulsive frustration. These are the hidden costs of reactivity. The sources further emphasize that silence can be louder than shouting, patience more powerful than revenge, and restraint the ultimate form of strength. Now, this isn't about passivity.
No, it's strategic.
It's strategic power. Silence, when chosen deliberately, denies a provocateur the emotional fuel they seek. Patience allows clarity to emerge, offering solutions far more effective than impulsive retaliation. And restraint, in a world that often celebrates immediate gratification and reaction, is a rare and compelling display of inner authority.
It really is.
This segment offers a profound framework for conscious decision-making, encouraging you to align your actions with your deepest values rather than fleeting impulses. It truly underscores that your response is, in fact, your story, and you are the sovereign author of that narrative.
Love that. Author of your own story. Okay, so having understood the profound impact of our reactions and the clear choice we have between reacting and responding, we naturally transition to proactive strategies for self-preservation.
Building the defenses.
Exactly. Let's talk about building some strategic defenses. Our sources introduce two incredibly powerful concepts here: detachment and boundaries. And what's interesting is they're often misunderstood. When we hear detachment, for example, our minds might jump to someone cold, aloof, or uncaring. But the sources frame it quite differently, don't they?
Absolutely, they do. They immediately challenge that common misconception. True detachment, as they present it, isn't about withdrawing from life or rejecting other people. It's a strategic withdrawal from the negativity that others might project or the chaos that threatens to engulf your inner peace.
Okay, so it's selective.
It's selective. It's less about a physical separation, though sometimes that's needed, and more about an energetic and emotional boundary you consciously erect around your core self.
All right, let's dig into that. Detachment as protection.
The core idea here is incredibly important. Detachment from negativity is protection, not rejection. In our modern world, which is often just filled with relentless noise, opinions, and hidden agendas, it's incredibly easy to get caught in other people's chaos.
So easy.
The sources identify various subtle and not so subtle sources of draining energy. Constant complaints, toxic conversations, unnecessary arguments, or relationships that pull you backward. They state very clearly, if you are not careful, their energy becomes your energy.
You absorb it.
You absorb it. This makes walking away from negativity